After hanging up on Shion, I searched for Rika-chan's phone number on my school's contact list. There it is. My fingers trembled with urgency and I failed multiple times to put in the simple 5-digit number. Keiichi, are you calling someone at this hour? It's late and it's being rude to the other person. That doesn't matter right now. I shouted angrily at my mother, listening to the dial tone. Pick up, come on, pick up. Come on, Rika, pick up. The time was 11 PM. It essentially wasn't early, really now. It was essentially the middle of the night. Had Rika-chan already gone to bed? Her phone would be ringing constantly though, so would she get back up for me? Rika-chan didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. She didn't pick up. Maybe she just happened to miss it. Maybe her bed was just too far away from the phone. The sound of the phone ringing gets clearer and clearer the longer you go on sleeping. Then, the bathroom? Yeah, she must be taking a bath. If that was the case, then even if she heard the phone, she wouldn't be able to pick up. It was a little late to be taking a bath, but it was possible she normally took baths right before going to bed. I'll wait 30 minutes then try calling again. Are we just gonna jump forward the 30 minutes then? Yeah. Even as I was thinking that, I called her house over and over again. I kept calling. Over and over again and again I kept on calling her, but she didn't pick up, even once. I think I kept trying for about 30 minutes. Yet, she wasn't picking up. Were my phone calls so persistent that she had gotten scared of picking up the receiver? No, that couldn't possibly be it. There was no point in doing this any longer. The best thing to do would be to go over there in person. Where Rika-chan's house was though. But where was Rika-chan's house though? Shit, I've never even asked her where she lived. Her residence was written there in the contact list, but it was an address with mostly numbers, so I couldn't tell where it was just by reading it. Isn't there a map or something in here? Rika Furude. Her last name was Furude. It was a bit of an odd last name, so it might be easy to find. Thinking that, I rummaged around the drawer with the phone book, but could only find things like takeout menus and phone numbers of public establishments. Shit. I tore one thing after another out of the drawer, but it didn't come up with any clues as to where Rika-chan's house was. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. If you don't know, then just ask. Ask someone who does know. Ah, that's it. Rena's got to know. I looked up Rena's phone number on the contact list. Rena Ruga. There she was. Another late call, eh? Oh wow, she answered really quick. Hello? This is Rugo. It was the voice of a grumpy sounding man. It must have been Rena's father. I'm calling in the middle of the night. I need to be polite. I'm sorry for calling so late at night. This is Maibara. Is there any chance Rena-san is around? Rina? Rina is taking a bath. Oh, she's done? Rina. There's a friend of yours on the phone. Alright, Rina Ruga was her real name, wasn't it? I've gotten so used to calling her Rena that hearing her real name caught me a little off guard. Hello? This is Rena. Ah, it's me, Keiichi. Sorry for calling so late. Huh? Keiichi-kun? What do you need at a time like this? Well, actually, I wanted to know where I wanted to know where Rika-chan's house is. Rena seemed a little appalled that I called her for something like that at this hour. However, she spoke her next words seriously, as if she caught on to how urgent my needs was. Okay. Sure. You know the assembly hall on the grounds of the Furude Shrine? It's a 2-story shack used for storage behind it. That's where she lives. I couldn't immediately visualize the place, but as long as I knew she lived on the shrine grounds, I just had to take a look around. Got it. Thanks. Sorry again for calling so late. Apologize to your dad for me, would you? Okay, but Keiichi-kun, why do you want to know where Rika-chan lives? Rena asked in an unusually sharp way, halting me before I could hang up the phone. I hesitated for a moment about whether to tell her. He was killed because I told him. Keiichi-kun? If you're still listening, could you answer me? Why are you asking where Rika-chan lives at a time like this? Rena's affected her usual tone. But beneath her words lay a certain tension, like she intuitively sensed something was going on. What will you do, Keiichi? If it's Rena, can't I tell her? He was killed because he found out. I revealed everything, so he was killed. Keiichi-kun? Rena is being serious. Please answer me. Rena asked me once again in a tone so forceful I couldn't imagine her ever used it normally. I was taken aback by her vigour. Rena was Rika-chan's friend too. He had no right to be concerned about Rika-chan's disappearing. If I told Rena then, even if only for a moment, I could drive away my horrifying fears. Rena, well, I can't exactly tell you why, but... Yes? Rena's tone was seriousness itself. Just from that tone, I could feel her saying, no matter what you say, Keiichi-kun, I'll believe you. That subtle sense of security gave me the courage to reveal the truth. I have a feeling that Rika-chan is in danger. You mean like a premonition? Or do you have some reason to believe she's in danger? I really didn't have time to go back and forth with Rena about this. Still, I think listening to her calm voice soothed my pointless impatience. I don't have much reason, but yet I still hesitated. I had told Rika-chan that we had stuck into the ritual storehouse. The mayor to whom Shion had confessed before that had already disappeared, though it was possible that Rika-chan also. I didn't know how to explain it to Rena. While I was tongue-tied, Rena spoke up. Sorry for asking something so weird. I thought about it and it isn't like you need to be sure. Rena laughed a little, seemingly a bit absent-minded. I wasn't exactly in the mood to laugh, so this time I was dumbfounded. Rena continued in a cheery yet still purposeful voice. You're worried about a friend. I don't think you need a reason to go and check on them. Even if Rika-chan was asleep and you ended up waking her up, if that was why you did it, then none of us would get mad. Rena, thank you. Okay then, Keiichi-kun, just one thing. You called Rika-chan's house, right? Then you couldn't get through? So is that why you asked me where her house is? Yeah, that's right. I must have called her for over 10 minutes. She could just be sleeping and not have noticed. Rika-chan's house is really small. She would have definitely heard the phone ringing, even if she was asleep. Takada-chan is there too, so there's no way either of them would have noticed. Huh? Sakuto, you mean she's living with Rika-chan? Yeah. You didn't know? Well, we talk about that later. Anyway, if you called that much and no one answered, then something's definitely wrong. Rena understood that the situation wasn't normal far faster than I could ever imagine her to. It made her seem dependable. However, the fact that Rena had acknowledged this also meant that the best case possibility was it was all just being the result of my own needless fears went out the window. I'll go to Rika-chan's house right now. Will you come with me? I can show you the way. Sounds good. Let's meet up at the same place as usual. I'll be waiting for you. No, wait. I'll come get you at your house. You just wait there. And tell your family you're coming with me to Rika-chan's house, okay? Will that be okay? You might lose time if you come here. Did you call me-chan too? She's really dependable at times like these. If you haven't, then I'll give her a call. A little piano playing then. My thoughts froze for a moment. Fiona had just told me to be careful around Mion during our phone conversation a little while ago. Yet the Sonozaki main house was somehow lurking behind the surface of the annual freak deaths. And the current heir to the family, Mion, wouldn't be uninvolved. So wouldn't that mean she wasn't uninvolved in what happened this year to Takano-san and Tomitake-san, and also the mayor's disappearance? Okay, bye. I'll be right over. Wait for me. That's all Rena said before hurriedly hanging up. Now wasn't the time to be doubting Mion. I needed to make sure Rika-chan was safe. I got changed and grabbed the key to my bike. I figured things would go more smoothly if we met up in the place we usually do before school. And I wouldn't need to come all the way to my house, but she just said she's gonna come here. Yeah, she just said she's gonna come to your house and you're gonna head off to the usual place without telling her. You're mad. You're mad. My parents would probably have objected if I told them I was leaving, so I creeped out without a word. The night was unusually warm and disagreeably humid. You said that Rika-chan and Sakuto lived together, right? Then, it wasn't only Rika-chan, Sakuto wasn't there either. Realizing what them living together really meant caused my thoughts to immediately take a turn for the worse. That can't be. He's got nothing to do with any of this. Even if there were a reason for Rika-chan to disappear, there shouldn't be one for Sakuto. Keiichi-kun. Rena was really fast. He approached me on her bike at an amazing speed. Her breath was ragged, painting a clear picture of just how hurriedly she'd been going. Hey Rena, let's get going. Keiichi-kun, I thought I told you to wait at your house. Rena's expression was all business. Was she mad? Came out of the blue and I faltered for a moment. Well, I figured it would be faster to meet up here. Oh. Keiichi-kun, don't you get it? Rena shouted, clearly angry. I never seen Rena like this before. Do I get it? What's the problem? Rena seemed to notice she was scaring me, took a couple of deep breaths, then continued as if admonishing me, but her expression didn't soften at all. Keiichi-kun, the whole village is in an uproar right now. The whole village is in uproar now that the elder disappeared, right? Yeah? Now you're telling me that Rika-chan and Sakuto aren't where they're supposed to be, right? Yeah? That about sums it up. then you need to be more careful. Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to be standing out here alone in the middle of the night? I began to understand where Rena's anger was coming from. You told your family you'd be going to Rika-chan's house with me, didn't you? So that in the worst case scenario, if you and I were to disappear, people would know when and where we did. Rena was perfectly level-headed in this emergency situation. Ever since the night of the Watanagashi, every night, someone had died or disappeared. On the night itself, Takuro-san and Tomitake-san met strange ends. On the next night, the elder vanished. Now on the next night, after that, Rika-chan and Sakuto were nowhere to be found. I hadn't been thinking of anyone but myself, but there was enough to say that Hinamizawa was a little weird at the moment. It was, in fact, extremely strange. Rena had even anticipated our own disappearances and had told me to tell my family where I was going. I was embarrassed at my own carelessness, and the need to be embarrassed made me afraid of the night. Sorry, I didn't tell them yet. Okay, then let's go tell them together. With Rena beside me, I wheeled back towards my house. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. A sky that was uselessly vast and cold. So that no matter what, it would never seem to me like a dream. This cruel fact had already confronted me. On such a crazy night, when I had been unimaginably dependable. Hinamizawa's metamorphosis, enough to make Rena caution me against carelessness, was, to me, the most fearsome thing of all. The moon seemed strangely high in the sky. I met up with Mion on the way, and she of course was unsure whether to believe me about Rika-chan and Sakuto's disappearance. Kei-chan, are you serious? I'm going to get really mad if this is all a joke. Mion was clearly displeased. If this were a joke, it wasn't very funny. I understand how indiscreet my words were. Ever since the day before yesterday, someone had either died or vanished every night. Rika-chan and Sakuto disappearing after all, that was something you couldn't say, even in jest. Mi-chan, if it really is a joke, don't get mad, smile. It would be a joke after all. We need to go make sure whether it is a joke or not. You're right. Sorry for getting upset. However indiscreet a joke it may have been, if we learned that our friends were safe, it would end up as nothing more than a funny story. Having been warned about that by Rena, Mion gave a dry smile, the tension she felt loosening a bit. She mounted her bicycle as well. Our 3 bicycle lights flashed down the pitch black roads. They were somewhat the only illumination outside. Hey-chan, why did you suddenly decide to call and ask about Rika-chan's house at a time like this? Mion asked me the same thing that I had trouble explaining to Rena. Would it be weird to call it a premonition? I couldn't quite tell them because it was dark. I couldn't quite tell because it was dark, but I thought I could see Mion smiling very ambiguously. I definitely understood that she wasn't convinced though, despite the darkness. Well, I had this bad dream while I was snoozing, and I couldn't get it out of my head. So did Rika-chan get kidnapped in the dream? Well, it was more like a vague feeling of something. If Rika-chan had answered the phone, I would have called you and Rena after that. Lies smoothly babbled out of my mouth, makeshift though they were. I was lying, because I thought telling them I was connected to Shion would be like slightly admitting we'd stolen into the ritual storehouse together that night. Mion didn't press me any further. I didn't know whether that convinced her, or maybe she figured that making sure Rika-chan and Sakuto were safe would be faster than making an issue out of it. I felt relieved and immediately a little guilty. Mion hadn't really been acting any differently these past few days, but I'm still trying to distance myself from her for some reason. It was only because of what I heard from Shion and Oshi-san that she was a successor to some kind of super extravagant gang family. No. Was I just trying to force myself to forget? Don't do that, Keiichi Maibara. Wasn't it Mion who was the first to ask about the night of the Watanagashi? In such a harsh tone at that? Have I already forgotten the terror I felt? At the time, Mion looked like someone different from the Mion I knew. When I think about that Mion, then Shion, and Oshi-san's description of Mion made a tiny bit of more sense. That's it, isn't it? If it wasn't for how she acted that day, then I wouldn't be feeling this way towards her now. What on earth was going on with her back then? I was conveniently thinking only of everything she had done after that, while disregarding the very first thing, the thing I should have been looking at most, wasn't I? Mion was pedaling her bike in front of me, her long hair fluttering in the wind. No matter how long I looked at her back, it never gave me the answers to any of my questions.